You here? All right. Let's get straight to it. I'm right back at you like I never left, and I'm going to go this hard to my last breath. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanoom, Consul Moon. You already know what you're going to get when you step in this room. You're now dealing with Kanoom. Yeah, I'm here. While I'm here, I'm going to make the information direct and clear because a lot of y'all can't hear it. Yeah. Now, welcome back to Make My Ancestors Great Again. This is another episode of Ancestors Speak. As the title states, this is Ivan Van Sertima on Ancestors Speak, Part 20. Okay. Let's hear from the ancestors, and then we'll hear from, again, a renowned ancestor. So let's listen to the video as we customarily do, and we'll get straight to the show.
One thing you have to get through your mind and keep it. Nothing that ever came from the European mind was meant to do anything but facilitate European domination of the world. And I said there's no exception.
Right. Now, let me take this down. I want to say a couple of things about Ivan. Okay. We're talking about Ivan Van Sertima, a great ancestor and one of the master teachers. He's in that depiction there that I always show of the ancestors. I made that up. Those are all the master teachers who touched me. So I got it in a cinematic type of depiction. It's showing different photographs of the ancestors who, again, I have privileged, or I have benefited from their work. So they all touch me, and I always give them honor in that video depiction that I put together there. Speaking is Dr. Clark. Accompanying Dr. Clark in photographs is Ivan Van Sertima, Hubert H. Harrison, John G. Jackson, Khalid Muhammad, Malcolm X, Walter Williams, Dr. Ben, and of course, like I said, speaking is Dr. Clark, okay? And Sheikh Anta Diop. And then this man here, Ivan Van Sertima, that we're going to see shortly. Ivan Van Sertima is from Guyana. That's the northern part of South America. It was a British colony and things of that nature because colonial slave masters came in. But he was a professor at Rutgers. He died in 2009. He was born in 1935. Great ancestor. He would battle with all the great European minds because he wanted to put to rest all that type of stuff that the European believed he was superior to us at one time. So him, along with Sheikh Anta Diop, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, all these great names, Arthur Schomburg, Hubert H. Harrison, they put that stuff to rest, that the European was our superior. Now, they didn't go with the notion to say, no, we're going to show that we're their superior. They never tried to do that because they didn't want people to say that they were acting the same way as the European, trying to belittle another person to make herself look larger. They didn't want to engage in that. So what they did was just put that notion to rest and said, if anything, we're not their superiors, but we were here first. And a lot of the things that they say they created, they in fact benefited from the things we created. They took them, put their name on them, and presented them, well, should I say, represented them to the world as something new. But we did it so far back, and we had these same things so far back in antiquity that they damn near all have been forgotten. So when you see something dressed up new and a totally different person is presenting it to you, you will accept that as the first time it ever been presented to the world. And this is what happened to the African race. Even here in America, a lot of things. We have a lot of great creators. Benjamin Banneker, Lewis Latimer. You got so many names, so many different things pop through my mind when I'm talking about this type of stuff. George Washington Carver. A lot of people created things, but they didn't get no type of just due for them, or they didn't get no recognition. Another person stepped forward, slapped their name on it, took the invention from them, and presented it to the world as theirs. So let's hear from Ivan Van Sertima, and what he's going to be talking about today is something that I dibble and dab in all the time. Excuse me, in terms of discussing This is what I always discuss. This is literature. So he's going to be telling you about literature. The English never had a script. The Romans had a script, and the Greek um, civilization had a script. But a lot of other people didn't have scripts. The oldest scripts is African in nature. The oldest languages is African in nature. So we're going to hear him discuss some of that stuff today. Let's look at Ivan Van Sertima. If you feel like you want to do something for me, like and subscribe because it won't cost you a fee. This is Ivan Van Sertima, the great warrior ancestor, on Ancestor Speak Part 20.
The Meroitic script which we are trying to decode and decipher, which we have not succeeded in doing, and the hieroglyphic script, which we thought had originated in Egypt, but which we know now originated at Kustal on the edge of the Sudan, at least 200 years before the first Egyptian dynasty. But where are the books, they say? The earliest books in the world are African. The book of the dead, or rather it should be called the book of the coming forth by night and day. The pyramid texts, the papyrus of Ani. You will hear tomorrow from Dr. Ben the profound impact of those books upon the thinking of the Greeks. Look at the medical literature of the world. They said the clinical method began with the Greeks. It did not. You can read the Edwin Smith Papyrus, Dr. Finch, whom you will hear tomorrow. Dr. Finch has done a commentary recently for the journal on the Edwin Smith Papyrus, showing it is only 1/3 of an earlier manuscript written down in the 18th dynasty by a surgeon in Egypt, and that it only deals with the head and neck and the brain, yet there are 200 terms. There are 200 medical terms for things inside and outside the head. He said that they discovered in that very early time things which we only know today through X-rays.
So what the great ancestor is speaking about is the Edwin C. Smith papyrus. They just name them after themselves. These are all African papyrus or scrolls. It was a surgeon in the 18th dynasty, which is, they say 1500 BC. I don't care to put the dates on that type of stuff, but it's much earlier than that. But the European don't want to date it, predate it. So it's earlier than the Bible. So they always take into consideration biblical chronology, and then they date it under that because they don't want anybody to predate the Bible. You got to remember that. That's first and foremost. The 18th dynasty, in my opinion, was much further back than that because they have different chronologies. It's over 5 to 10, maybe 15, 20 different chronologies that people give out. Okay. It was a surgeon who wrote this stuff down, and he specialized in brain, head, and neck. Okay. Already doing specialized surgery on different parts of the body. And it had over 200 terms in there that the European, or the civilization that we live in today, which is heavily European dominated. I'm in North America. Anybody who's in the Western world, they're heavily dominated by Western academia or Western thought or Western life. Okay, that's just the way it is. They only found out these 200 terms and things that they were seeing in the 18th dynasty. They were only able to find that out in this time period with X-ray. Okay, so the ancestors has been running laps around people who said that we were inferior to them. But let alone history shows you there's no inferiors or superiors. But what it is, it's people who knew things before other people. And at one point in time, the people who knew everything that the other people didn't know because no one knew they existed, because they weren't documented, was African people. It's not racist. This is history. So let's continue to listen to the ancestors. I just wanted to stop there so you can understand what he's talking about.
He said that they found the locus in the brain through which auditory information is processed. They were working on pulse taking 1,000 years before Herophilus, the Greek who was credited with pulse taking. And then the Greeks came. And the Greeks, I must say, though some people may disagree with me, relative to what was to happen later, showed a profound respect and reverence for the Africans whom they defeated. Alexander built his city in Africa. And the Greeks.
Okay, he was saying that the ancestors also, the African people along the Nile Valley, they were doing posts. They were taking posts 1,000 years before a man named Apophis, or they always make names up. The European, when they don't have no hero, they create one. So they, the people along the Nile, the African people in different civilizations, speaking about the ancient Egyptians though, they were post taking and doing posts 1,000 years before the European put his name on it and presented it to the world. You hear me? So that was Ivan Van Sertima. You guys can watch that whole thing. I believe that's Sonnetter. You can go to Sonnet, or you can type in Ivan Van Sertima to where he deals with the African literature, different scripts and things like that. Excuse me. And you can find this and watch it in its entirety. I just want to always pay homage on the last week of every month of Thursday with the Ancestors Speak. So it's Lil Kenny Russell. That's my thoughts on the video. May he rest. May his soul rest. May his spirit continue to be lifted to the ancestors. That's my thoughts on that. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanoom, Council of Moon. You already know what you're going to get me. Step in this room. You're now done with Kanoom. This is what I do, and I love to do it. And before I take back what I said, I add some more to it. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. If you feel like you want to do something for me, like and subscribe, because it won't cost you a fee. Education and preparation is the first step to retaliation. So before you pick up a weapon or a silly religion, pick up some knowledge. If anybody's offended by anything you heard, I mean every word. See y'all tomorrow. Yeah, yeah.